here's the thing. For everybody listening, don't make the same mistake the Bengals just did in any facet of your life.
People are going to get hurt. It's the hockey season.
What about the Jared Cook play on the sideline?
I was very tempted to just put defense.
I'm saying it right now. If Anthony Davis is out for the playoffs, they don't make it out of the first round.
Come on, Austin and I have been saying this ever since Joe Burrow got injured.
I don't really think the Dodgers are going to make the World Series this year. I feel like they'll make it to the NLCS.
The Fernando Tatis extension, because that really surprised me.
Like you said, Ovechkin, he's getting older. He hasn't been playing as well as I imagined. He's one of the greatest goal scorers of all time, but he hasn't started off this season as hot as I would hope.
Hi, I'm Jeff Allen, and you're listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NFL Opinions of the Week. I'm Kevin, and I'm joined by the harsh grader, Austin.
Yeah, that's a very true statement. I am a harsh grader. I'd be a tough teacher for anybody, and right here I'm giving grades to NFL teams. So we're going in alphabetical order based on city, and I think we just flip-flop every single one if you're okay with that.
Sounds great.
Well, let's start out with the Cardinals at first. D-.
Oh, wow. We agree. I have B- well for the Cardinals.
D-.
That's okay. Oh, whoa. You have a D-?
Yes, they were supposed to make the playoffs. They made the playoffs last year, Kevin.
Man, you're coming in hot. Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, they didn't really live up to expectations.
But B-?
And,
I said expectations for me was a C. So if they met expectations, maybe not a C. Maybe a B is met expectations.
B is like, you did what I expected to do. C is below expectations. D is, you're terrible. Yeah, B is my, met expectations. Which, if we want to talk Atlanta Falcons, I give a B. They're just a fun team.
The Falcons, I give a C. I think the whole Marcus Mariota fiasco was very detrimental to the success of the team. Kyle Pitts, horrible season. And it's not because of him. It's because of coaching. It's because of game plans. And I think that those two hindrances really do matter in the grand scheme of things.
That's true. Yeah, I think they were just going to mess around, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, they were just kind of my average. And now we'll go to the third team.
The Ravens. I guess I really did put C as the average because I have 19 teams that are C or below. 19.
Okay. Dang.
So, tough grader, very much so. Ravens, I give a C-. There's no way you can see this season as a success, whether it's the contract talks or negotiations with Lamar, or the fact that the wide receivers have now called out the GM, or the fact that they barely made the playoffs, and when they did, Tyler Huntley played well, but they still lost. It was a tough game, and another year of disappointment.
Yeah, I give them a C+. It just really wasn't there. I thought they would be good. But yeah, it's really troublesome, and I'm surprised teams are we're out on Lamar Jackson, because
he is a mobile QB who has been hurt a lot. So I don't Richard Sherman made the comparison between him and Burrow. Burrow is a pocket passer. Pocket passers like Brady can tear his ACL and be fine the rest of his career. Brady never missed another game with injury ever again in his entire career. So one injury like that, one fluke injury, I don't think is a big concern. But with a rushing QB, a QB that runs a lot, you were talking about running backs.
Yeah, it's true.
It matters. Now, I definitely think he should be getting some traction. But I think the reason why is because you also, if you pick him up, you have to give up conditional first-round pick. So you're almost trading for him and giving him the huge deal. Look, would I want Lamar? Yes. But he's going to cost a lot if he gets what he wants.
Yeah, and people are saying they're just thinking that the Ravens are going to match it no matter what. So... but the cost to me would be yeah, you mentioned that big deal and 2 first-round picks, which to me seems less than what it usually takes, or what it's taken in the recent past, because Russell Wilson was 2 first-round picks, one great player or one promising player and a good player. Stafford took 2 picks, a player, and they both got incredible contracts. But yeah, I get what you're saying about the injuries have scared me, but I would try to like limit Lamar in his running. I think if I gave him some great wide receivers, he would stay in the pocket more.
I agree with that. And like I said, he's a great player. So I
Yeah.
understand why some people are mad about it, but you got to understand the scope of what teams are all looking at. And it goes a lot deeper than that. But is it you with the Bills?
Yes, the Bills I gave a C minus.
Wow, the first rating so far that you give a lower grade than me. I give him a
Really?
C. I give him a C plus. I just, and that may be because you had high expectations into the
Yeah.
year than me.
It's higher expectations. Like it wasn't even close.
I've been down on Josh Allen for a while now, as is popular on this channel to know, and so I didn't have high enough or as high as you did expectations, and they kind of exceeded mine by playing hard in that last game. But I didn't think they were better than the Bengals all year and before the season started. So
Yeah, I would
C
have
plus.
expected them to be better than the Bengals at the start of the year, but it's really troublesome because it looks like Tremaine Edmonds is going to leave, Jordan Poyer. It looks like the window's closing, and Josh Allen is. I'm getting a little worried because he's struggling with the turnovers, but a few years ago he was incredible, and he's been like my MVP pick the past few years. So yeah, I give him a C minus. I was not really happy with them.
Next is Panthers. I gave them a C. They kind of met my expectations. Now I didn't have them as maybe a playoff team, but that was only if everything went perfectly and Christian McCaffrey stayed. But if you'd have told me before this season McCaffrey gets traded, a C. I think a C for this season is a viable.
Yeah, I have a B, which is average. So you and I are both giving him the average grade. Just like, yeah, you made some trades, just didn't work out. That's kind of it.
Next is Bears.
Bears, where we just saw the Bears trade and the Panthers trade. I like that, but I kind of counted the season, not this trade.
Yeah, this trade doesn't count.
Yeah, the Bears, even though I do love that Bears trade, Bears B, B plus. I'll add a B plus because I think what you saw from Justin Fields was really good, and now I think it's fair to give him one more year to see. Okay, what is there? Do we have our answer at a QB? And if you don't, you can trade up, go make a trade for the number one guy, or just wait a couple of years. But if they can solve that problem, now they just need to surround Fields with options, which it looks like they're doing. But yeah, overall, I think has some really good. Um, that's why I gave him a B plus. Like Fields to me exceeded my expectations, which if I'm the Bears, that's the only thing I really care about right now.
Okay, I give him a C. I kind of trust the process, and especially after the trade, I do as well. But this season, I didn't expect much from them, and them being the worst team in the league does not surprise me.
Yeah, that's fair. And I'm glad they were a terrible team because that made way for the trade. But now we'll go to the Bengals.
Bengals, I have an A minus. I really like what the Bengals did. I was impressed. They fought through some injuries with Jamar Chase. They survived without him, and then they played well in the playoffs. They could have won that Chiefs game. They're just a really good team. They're going to be a contender for a while.
I agree. I have them as an A, just a little bit higher. Really well. Bro was great. And yeah, they've become an incredible team. So now it's my turn where we go with Cleveland Browns. I gave them a C. They did not meet expectations and had a tumultuous offseason because of what they did. And just did not work out. Defense was all right, but offense to me did not meet the expectations.
The Browns, I gave a D. I was not happy with what they did this year. And when you pick up Watson, you have to while I didn't have high expectations, you're putting those high expectations on yourself, and you have to at least show some success. And they didn't. They looked terrible. They looked better with Jacoby Brissett than Deshaun Watson. They struggled all year. They had to make some trades. I don't know what they do, and I think that was this past season was very unsuccessful for them.
They also gave a contract to Watson that the NFL does not recognize. They're like, yeah, never do that again. To like other owners.
Oh, they recognize it. They just say that they shouldn't. Yeah, they recognized it as a negative.
They're like, don't. This is not setting the precedent. Like each one tries to one up the other, but they're like, no, don't one up this. So yeah,
Yeah, next,
yeah,
your team right
yeah.
here.
Dallas Cowboys. I gave an A. They exceeded my expectations. Micah Parsons is incredible. They did better well in the playoffs, even though it left a sour taste in my mouth because I think they could have won it. But overall, good, much better than what I thought with the trades that they did. And Stephen Jones finally said, yeah, we messed up with the Amari Cooper trade.
I give the Cowboys a B. I think it was a good season, but the fact that they still can't get over the hump of a second round game is concerning, and I think it is something that needs to be addressed. I'm happy with what Tony Pollard and some other guys showed, but something needs to happen. Something needs to change.
Yeah, and we'll see. But now we'll go to the Denver Broncos.
My first F. Can't get worse. There's nothing. Not only did they not have their pick so that the Seahawks got it, this was just an ugly year, and there's no other way for me to put it than F. You cannot get worse than this.
Yeah, I gave him a D, which is kind of my F. Like, man, that's terrible. It just was awful. I didn't have as high expectations as you, but I thought they'd be a playoff team, a dangerous team, but they just were not that. They did better on offense with Drew Lock than Russell Wilson.
Yeah, or Teddy Bridgewater, or name any one of those QBs from the past. Joe Flacco, Case Keenum. I mean, you name any of those guys. I guess not. Was Flacco on the team, or was it just Keenum?
Flacco was on
right?
the team. He was, and then I think so. Man,
and Keenum was the year after. Or
went Trevor Siemian.
Keenum was the year before.
Flacco, and then Drew Lock, or Paxton Lynch / Drew Lock /
Yeah, there's so many guys there.
Flacco.
There's so many. Teddy Bridgewater, if he was a QB of that team, and they had the same offense with that defense, they're a playoff team, and that's very disheartening. But next we have the Lions.
Lions, I gave an A. Exceeded my expectations. The offense looked great. And defense looked good. And they still have a high pick because of what they traded with the Rams. So now they can upload the defense, upgrade the defense, and maybe make a few signings, maybe get another weapon to Goff, and see what he can do. And if not, maybe go trade up for a young quarterback.
Yeah, I also have the Lions as an A, and I'm confident with Goff. I almost gave him an A+, and I would have if they made the playoffs. But there was a little bit there that made me think, no, they're just an A. But still, this was an extremely successful season, and I think everyone in Detroit should be very happy with the future.
Yeah, I think they should feel positive. Yeah, I was stingy with my A pluses. I was cool with an A, but A plus to me was like, man, this is incredible. But now we'll go to the Green Bay Packers.
Packers, I have a D. I didn't want to give them an F because I do believe that there was some good things this year with Christian Watson, some of our younger players playing well. Quay Walker, I know he had that whole fiasco against the Lions, but I was happy with our growth in some areas. But obviously, the whole point of having Aaron Rodgers is to go for a Super Bowl, and we weren't even close.
Yeah, I give him a C. Really not like defense played incredible, but the offense just wasn't there. Christian Watson took a little bit, but he seems to be gaining some steam. But yeah, now we'll go on to the Houston Texans, and I gave him a C as well. They didn't perform as well as I thought. They were really bad, but I just don't like. There wasn't much But we'll have to see what they do at the draft.
Yeah, I have a D plus for them, a little bit lower. I was very underwhelmed. I thought that the way they threw Davis Mills under the bus, who I think is still a okay starter in this league, he has no one to pass the ball to. He has no O line besides Tunsil. Like, why is everyone blaming him for their inaccuracies? I what they do to QBs have such high expectations, whatever team you're playing on, college, NFL, anywhere, that they don't take into consideration what does the player have, how much growth has he had because of those players, what has the coaching staff done, but also the management firing Lovie Smith right after the season. I am going to put that in last year. It's just a man how the mighty have fallen, and maybe you don't consider them mighty, but having a 24-0 lead in a year that the Chiefs win the Super Bowl. They may never overcome that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and they didn't really give either of the pair of past two coaches much to do with, and they did pretty well. I think Lovey was helping out his old team, the Bears, but yeah, it really wasn't well. And I know Davis Mills had a down year, but give him some time, like give him some weapons, and just see what happens, and just wait. But we'll see what they do. Now we'll go to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I give a B. I think Trevor Lawrence. I think
You
Doug
missed the
Peterson
Colts.
helped Trevor Lawrence.
You missed the Colts.
Oh, I missed the Colts. My bad. Colts, I gave a D. Yeah, I was
I-
thinking since you said a D, we had already talked about the Colts. Colts, awful. I thought they were going to be a good team, but they just were terrible.
Yeah, I give them D minus. It's almost an F, and I was very, very disappointed. It's not all on Matt Ryan. It's not all on the coaching staff. It's not all on everything. Just a whole concoction of terribleness, and I don't really know where you go from here if you're them. But I'll let you go first again for the Jaguars since you already said part of it.
Yeah, the B, I think Trevor Lawrence, he showed glimpses, but then also made some failings. But I think they made some really good moves. I like Calvin Ridley, and that was during the season. And I think there are some bright spots in that they can. I think this is what you'd want to see from a Doug Peterson team.
Yeah, I agree, but I'm much higher than you. You gave him a B. I give him an A minus. That last the end of year stretch was very impressive. I was very impressed by that. I love the growth of Travis Etienne. I think the Marvin Jones, Zay Jones, and now Calvin Ridley offense will be good. Evan Ingram played amazing. I was very happy with this team. Their defense grew a little bit, but coaching was really where I think I gave the most props to. So A minus for the Jaguars. I'll go first for the Chiefs. A plus. You win a Super Bowl, you get an A plus. That is a guarantee for me. I guarantee you, whoever wins, we do this again next year. Whoever wins a Super Bowl, whoever, will get an A plus. No matter if they trade, if one team trades for every Pro Bowler in the league, A plus guaranteed.
I agree. A plus as well for the Chiefs. Yeah, just an incredible season, and didn't really expect it. So now we can go on to the Raiders. I gave a
You
C.
didn't expect it at all,
Well, I didn't expect them to win the Super Bowl.
but for the playoff predictions, you did. No, you did.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you
I'm,
did,
I'm
yeah.
saying at the start of the year. Start of the year.
I don't
Like
know.
I thought they'd be close, but like I
This
thought.
this notion that they were underdogs, I feel like
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of people
No,
are
that's-
pushing. Is
I love that. I love that thing of when like the Georgia players said it too. Man, people doubted us. I'm like, dude, they had you number 1 before the season started. They didn't doubt you. But I thought they'd be hurt by Hill, and Sky Moore didn't play really well, but I think Mahomes really saved them, and I just didn't expect them at the start of the year to win the Super Bowl. But I still thought they'd be good,
great.
just not great.
Interesting. Okay. I guess I kind of understand. I thought they were going to be really good. In my preseason prediction video, I remember I had them losing in the Super Bowl to the Bucks. We all know how that
Yeah.
ended up going. But I still had them making the Super Bowl. I still thought they were going to be really good.
Yeah, I would have had them in the AFC Championship game, but I thought they were going to lose to the Bills. But the Bills just didn't live up to that.
Yeah, was not high on them. But next is the Raiders. My last F of the year. You trade for Devontae Adams. You should do something. As a Packers fan, someone who thinks that Devontae Adams is still the best wide receiver in the league. I love me some Devontae Adams. One of my favorite players in the league. I've you want to I This is not football related. Well, partially it is, but I do want to tell you something that I think will surprise you. Jalen Brunson and Devontae Adams are the same height. Both of them are 6'1". Is that
Wow,
is that a crazy comp? Is that a crazy comparison?
that's crazy.
Yeah.
I would have thought Adams is taller than Brunson.
No,
Wow.
same. We're both are 6'1", and that kind of goes to everything that Adams can do. And Adams is such an amazing player, and he had a great season. It's just the rest of the team self-combusted. Besides Josh Jacobs, Max Crosby, and Devontae Adams, almost every other player had a negative or down year.
Yeah, and they bench Carr at the end of the season. It's weird. And then they try to trade Carr. Yeah, it's just really bad. That's why I gave him a C. But really, I thought they were going to be dangerous. Like you have Renfro, Waller, and Devontae Adams. I do still think Devontae Adams is number one. He had a great season. And I think as long as you keep playing well, you can retain that title.
We will be doing wide receiver rankings. We haven't done them before. We will be getting to that.
Yeah, we'll be expanding, which it should be a fun episode. Now we go to the Chargers. B minus.
I give him a C. I think that the only reason I didn't give him a higher than a C is because of that playoff loss. They should have won that game.
Oh yeah, that loss really stings. But yeah, they had some injuries, which I'm just like, man, you couldn't really expect that. And we'll just have to see how they do next year.
Yeah, I think next year is going to be a do or die year for them. Next, the Rams, D minus. The only reason why it's not an F is because of the injuries they've had with Cooper Kupp and Stafford and guys. But they weren't going to be a good team this year, even with those guys fully healthy. They just did not have enough firepower on offense. They did not have enough good players on defense either. And this really was a far stretch away from what happened the year before.
Yeah, I give them a D as well. Just really not. I thought they'd be good. Didn't expect them to be terrible. And yeah, the injuries really hampered them. And
What did you give them?
quite a Super Bowl hangover.
What did you give them?
D.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's valid.
Yeah. And then we'll go to the Dolphins, who I gave an A. Stinks how Tua was really injured, but I thought the offense looked good under Mike McDaniel. They struggled in the playoffs, but I think there are some positive things about this team.
Yeah, I gave them a C. I was not happy with how things went. I'm not happy how they handled the Tua situation. I'm not happy the fact that they again threw the under the bus Skylar Thompson in the playoffs while Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle couldn't catch anything. The game management, not playoffs, playoff, the last series of the playoffs, they just could not get anything going passing the ball. And then at the end of the year, I mean, with Bridgewater getting hurt, I think medical staff or whatever, something was wrong. And I really was not happy with how things were going with them at the end of the year. At least they made the playoffs. That's the only reason I wanted to see.
Yeah, that's a fair grade. I can see that. Now we'll go to the Minnesota Vikings.
B plus. No one expected them to have as good of a record as they did, but they did lose to the Giants, and I do think that downgrades their score for me.
I give them an A minus. I didn't really expect much from them, but they had a great year, great offense, great play from Kirk Cousins, much better than I thought. And yeah, I didn't expect them to play so well, even though. And then they lost to the Giants, which was shocking, but they did much better than I thought. So that's my grade for them.
That's fair. Next, Patriots, D plus.
Oh wow, dang!
Mac Jones regressed this past year. People were really talking like Bailey Zappi should be starting next year. And I understand Patriots fans, they had so much success in the past that they have very high standards for every player on their team, but a lot went wrong.
Yeah, that's very true. I gave him a B minus. It didn't quite. I took into consideration the injuries, But yeah, I thought they'd be better, but they just weren't. And yeah, that's why I gave them a B minus.
The throwback that happened that they lost to the Raiders,
Oh man, that's
that almost single handedly knocked them down from a C minus to a D plus. That alone.
that's gonna live in great infamy
That is true.
because, especially the truck of Mac Jones, wild. Now we go to the Saints, New Orleans Saints. C, I thought they'd be better, and they just weren't. Like they were. I don't know what was happening with quarterback, and then their defense just wasn't worth it. Offense, there injuries. I was really looking forward to that. Yeah, they have Jarvis Landry, Chris Olave, and Michael Thomas.
Yeah, Michael Thomas, he's had some injury history. I have him as a D plus. I expect him to be better. The whole QB fiasco, the injuries that happened with Jameis Winston, Andy Dalton's lackluster play. I mean, there was a lot there that made me very unhappy with how the season went.
Yeah, we seem to be on the same page for that one. Now we go to the New York Giants.
A plus. They
I
won a
didn't give them A
playoff game.
plus.
They won a playoff game and had a great year. Coach of the year, Daniel Jones comes into his own. Saquon has a great season. They're finding some wide receiver success. They got rid of Kenny Galladay after the season. Their defense looks much improved. You can't expect much more. This is exactly the rating I would have gave the Lions if they had made the playoffs. But the Giants, they won a playoff game. So, I mean, I don't know what else you could have expected.
I was very stingy. I only gave out one other A plus besides the Chiefs. This one was not.
Already know who it is, but
Yeah, I think it's pretty fair. A is the New York Giants. Really close in the A plus range. Exactly what you said. Really exceeded everything. But yeah, just very close. And they got Jones under a contract, and that's very good. So yeah, now we'll go to the New York Jets. B.
the Jets, I gave a B. I can't believe we agree on this. We're not going to agree on much today, or at least in this video, but a B for the Jets I do think is right. Them losing Zach Wilson to whatever they lost him to, mentally speaking, hurt. But I do like, I know Brees Hall got hurt. I like the future with that. I like their defense. I like their coaching. I think they have a good future.
Oh yeah, I agree. It looks good, and I wouldn't trade for Aaron Rodgers, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, great future. Really hit on a lot of those rookies in this draft. Sauce Gardner, and then here's my A plus, which I'm sure you expected it. Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts was in the MVP discussion. What a well-rounded team, and really incredible team building.
I had him as an A plus as well. My last A plus. I was very impressed with this Eagles team, and there's very little you can do better besides win a Super Bowl.
I agree, and I think they will still have plenty of time next year. Now we'll go to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
B minus. The way they ended the year, the improvement of Kenny Pickett, the way this season went at the end, the fact that they almost went to playoffs again. Mike Tomlin's one of the best head coaches in the league, and I love how this team looks for the future.
Did you give him an A?
B minus.
Okay, I gave him a B as well. So yeah, I agree. Really good. You saw some growth, and yeah, kind of what I expected after what they did. Now we go to the Niners. I gave it A minus.
I agree.
Yeah. Oh wow, we agree. Wow.
Again, yes.
Yeah.
It's a valid one. Brock Purdy, yep. I mean, the defense, amazing. The trade for Christian McCaffrey, amazing. Debo struggled this year, but they picked up the slack in other areas, and I think this team is very scary.
They just need to have their quarterback healthy.
I agree, or at least one of their top 4.
Yeah, true. Or just have an emergency QB. But now we go to the Seahawks. I give an A. Better than the Niners. And what a season from Geno Smith. And just overall, really great play from this team.
I gave the Seahawks an A as well. This was the closest team to giving an A plus that didn't get one. It's because they didn't beat the Niners, but also because I thought they were going to have a better record than they did. They kind of struggled and threw some games here and there, but they got the job done. Many people did not anticipate them making the playoffs. I know they needed a Lions win to do that. The Seahawks and Lions are very much in the same boat here. Both ended with the same record, and the Lions really helped the Seahawks make the playoffs, obviously. But, I mean, there's nothing I can say besides what a year, and I'm excited for Geno and the future.
Yes, and they do have some nice picks. We'll see what happens. Now we go to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
D. Now,
I
don't
agree
think,
as well.
Wow, that's 3 straight, by the way. A minus, A, D. I don't think an F is fair because of how many injuries they accumulated with Ryan Jensen and so many other guys. But when you have the GOAT, you gotta win more than you have to win a playoff game. You have to win multiple playoff games. You have to make the NFC Championship. You have to do these other stuff. And while there was Brady played okay, he played fine. Brady was not the reason for the downfall. Neither was Mike Evans or some of these other guys. But the way the offense was run by Byron Leftwich was not good, and that's the reason why he got fired. And I think there's a lot of negatives for this season, but I think a D is fair.
Yeah, I have a D as well, as I mentioned, and yeah, just really didn't live up to expectations. Yeah, and just Todd Bowles did not really do well as a coach. And yeah, now we'll go second to last team, Tennessee Titans. I gave a C.
Okay, we break the streak. I gave them a D. I know they got hurt, and I understand that they would have been better if they were healthy with Tannehill as their starter quarterback. But I like Joshua Dobbs. I think that he's going to be a good. I think he could be a good player in the future. I think if they actually give him some chances, but I don't know if they will because of just how stingy the league is. But the Titans, they didn't even make the playoffs, so I gave them a D. Now, last team, Commanders, I give them a C. They had a good season. Why did they go back to Carson Wentz? They should stay with Heineke. Maybe they make the playoffs if they do that. But they about were where I expected them to be.
Yeah, I gave C for Titans and Commanders. Titans, similar reasons. I was just a little bit injuries, but yeah, not really good. The Commanders, C as well. I don't get it. Like, I didn't like the Wentz trade anyway. Really didn't make up. Defense was not playing well, and that's it. That's all I got. Really expected more from them, but they need to figure out that quarterback position because they have some great wide receivers.
Yeah, 100%. I think that they have a lot of success in the future if they can figure out who's going to be the QB for the future.
And maybe get a new owner. I think a new owner could help.
Oh, I think that would be very beneficial.
Which, yeah. That's all we got. So leave it on a lighter note. Let us know what you think in our comments about the grades, and thank you for listening to Outsiders Opinions.